Welcome to Selling Checks, brought to you by DFS. I am Candy, your real life human. It's so good to have you back. We are going to check out some checks. It's going to be a great seminar and going to be a lot of bad check puns. Get ready. Let's get started. Now, I know that you're probably thinking it's checks. What am I going to teach you about checks, this sort of archaic form of payment? But let me just tell you something. Checks are very sexy. So stay with me. I promise you won't be sorry. Here is what we are going to cover today. What's in it for you? Why checks? A little bit about the market so you get a little understanding about that. Let's get that taken care of right off the top. We're going to cover features and selling points. We're going to talk about how to take a check order. Now, I think many of you think, well, Candy, I've been writing checks for a very long time. I'm sure I know how to take a check order. We're going to review it because there's a couple of things that I think that you might forget. We're going to talk and take a look at a holistic approach when it comes to selling checks. They don't need just a check, your customers. They need a couple of other things. So I want to make sure that you have those things in the back of your head, all right? I'm going to talk about that. Deposit tickets, maybe. We're going to talk about recovery and planning, just giving you, again, another holistic approach of what you're able to offer to your customers to get them to stay open, and stay safe. And then, of course, the most important piece is finding the right person, the right partner to work with. We got a lot of things to go. Let's get rolling. All right, here we go. So let's just talk about a check here, right? We're going to talk about what's in it for you, you amazing person, you, right? Why checks? Let me throw out some numbers. Basically, I'm just going to, sign the check, if you will. It's going to be so many more bad puns to come. All right, here we go. So 16 billion checks are written each year. They are an integral part of the financial operations of small to medium businesses. They're also the number one choice for bill payment. And I got to tell you, the margins on a check are beautiful. You get some decent margins. And when I tell you that 16 billion checks are written every year, that means that a piece of the pie is waiting on you. And you've got a good margin, you can start taking a piece of that pie. It's not to mention that 42% of millennials are still writing checks. So according to Qualtrics, 42% still writing checks. It's basically higher. It's a higher percentage than the millennials that own like a video console. Now, I'm an Xboxer, but I don't quite fall into that category of millennials. Let's not talk about grays. But I'm saying that if 42% are still writing checks, that's 3 times more millennials using checks than a mobile payment. That is an absolutely stunning figure to think about. Now, crazy enough, 61% of the small to medium businesses, they're totally satisfied with writing checks as payments, taking checks as payments, and they know too that checks next to cash, the only universally accepted payment methods, period. Now, when I talk to you about what's in it for you, 16 billion checks, right? Good margins. Let me just throw this last number out. $1 million changes hands every second of every day via check. $1 million. $1 million, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money every second of every day. So slice of the pie is out there. Your customers already trust you with their printing and marketing and promotional needs. Go ahead and walk in and go, trust me with a few more things. I promise it's safe and you'll take care of them. Great things. Cha-cha-cha-ching. No, I think it should be cha-cha-cha-check. Check. Oh, you didn't know I was going to sing. Sorry. That's my thing. Let's just talk about features and selling points. As we begin your journey into checks, it might seem a bit daunting at first. There are so many types of checks and then subcategories of those types of checks. There's different versions and it gets to be, how do I know what to choose? Let's go ahead and check it out. Oh my gosh, tell me that's just not awesome, right? So most suppliers have a standard pre-designed checks, right? Most suppliers have about 3 or 4 different categories in checks. We're going to take a look at the top 3 right now. The first one is a laser check. Now this is known as a computer check as well. It's used when somebody is using something like QuickBooks or Peachtree or Sage to print their checks out. The other is a manual check. Now this is also known as just a handwritten check. Many people just like the feel of ink to paper when they write that check out. They've either got a carbonless copy or they're entering in a journal or on the stubs like you see here. And I want you to know you're my soulmates. I get that. I like me some manual checks. And then the third category is continuous. And basically, these are just computer checks, but they have the tractor feed running down the side. You see these in large quantities. Somebody who actually has a dot matrix printer or something along those lines, because they'll come with carbonless copies. So we're going to move forward and get a little bit more detailed. I told you about the pre-designed checks and the subcategories. I'm just going to give you basically the top 3 categories in those 3 that go across all 3 check categories: the laser, the manual, and the continuous checks. This is what you're going to see basically. A multi-purpose check. This is a wildly popular check. Wildly popular check. The accounts payable check is the second most popular check, just because a lot of people pay vendors. Remember, we talked about that 61% are using that method to pay people with, and usually you'll see it come through either the multi-purpose or the accounts payable. Last but not least is the payroll check. And I really don't have a lot to say about that, because we all know what a payroll check looks like, right? It's got all of your categories for tax deductions, Social Security, health, Medicare, Medicaid, things like that. You'll see those in the stub part of that section. Those are the 3 most popular. I want to introduce you in just a couple of more, actually, another couple of categories. Let's move forward, right? There are a few other categories we'll talk about. One of my ultimate favorites is the one right. Now, I know that the spirit animal thing I talked about with the manual checks, these are some old school checks. A little known fact, the one right check has been around since the 1800s. It's a feathered check setup that goes onto a pegboard that has a carbonless strip on the back of it, so when you write your check out, it imprints on to the ledger board in the back, so you've got the full ledger and keep account with all of your money. So again, pretty popular, and sometimes makes a comeback. It still surprises me to this day. The other is the wallet or personal check, and I don't really need to talk about that. Most everybody in the world has started one of these at some point in time, or still has these right now. And then last but not least is one category that I want to talk about, and that's the blank check. The blank check seems a little crazy, but you're going to need to have like a magnetic ink printer in order to be able to print on these because of the Micker line. And we'll talk about that in just one quick second. So these are some more categories that we have. There's also one other category that is actually next to the manual check. This is my personal favorite. If you recall, we recently did another webinar about full color promotional printing, and I talked about the importance of branding. Now, on all the checks that we've just discussed, you can always add your logo and your personal information, your company information, in the upper left-hand corner. What custom checks do is completely change the game when it comes to branding. You're allowed to put your logo in full color or even in PMS colors to make sure that your brand standards are kept up. There are just so many different functionalities. Again, you can go high security, you can go low security, which I'll cover in just a second. You can do it with a laser check or a manual check. It's all on what you need. Wonderfully enough, it will allow you to even do carbonless copies in different colors. The standard second piece of a carbon copy is yellow. If you want it to be green, green it is for you, sweetheart. We can do that for you. There's different screens or backgrounds or Pantones that you'll hear that you can put on and agree. This is where I come in. If you were able to screen your entire logo or an image of a worker, just like you see here on your check, do it. You recall, again, in that previous presentation that we did for full color, I used and talked about Frank's Red Hot Sauce and how I love their slogan is that you put Frank's Red Hot Sauce on everything, right? And I think that mantra should apply to your branding standards. Put your brand on everything. Custom checks allow you to do that, make it fully customized, and they do come and comply with all banking standards. It's wonderful, right? Custom checks, where it's at. Check it out. Now, one of the things that I do want to talk about too when it comes to all of the standard pre-designed checks that we talked about, is the accounts payable, the multi-purpose, and the payroll check, all of them include security features. We've got high security, regular security features, but you'll see things like a microprint border, erasure protection, mobile remote deposit lines, and document screens and warning boxes. There's all kinds of great security features already in just the standard check. Other things that are wonderful to think about. Wait a minute. Are you feeling overwhelmed? Is it really starting to become a lot of information? All right, here's what we're going to do. I want to take a quick breather. Let's just chill. I'm going to give you a pep talk. Just a little candy pep talk, all right? Any new product, adding any new product to your repertoire, Can be daunting. It really truly can. And the easiest thing to do is think it's too much and walk away. But let's just chill for a minute. Let's step back, right? Let's check ourselves, right? I want to give you my pep talk. Anytime that you're going to be selling checks, you want to work with a partner. I'm going to talk about how to find a good partner in a few minutes. Finding a good partner is that it should be three things. It should be painless, it should be easy, and it should be profitable. That is Candy's pep talk. So let's make checks easy. It's a three-step process. We're just going to bring it down, break it down. Here we go. Number one, how do your customers present their checks? Do they handwrite them or do they use a computer to print them? This is going to break it down really quickly and easy now. How do you write your checks? Number two, dig a tad deeper. If they are handwriting their checks, what type of check are they writing it on? Is it a 3-on-a-page check from a binder, a ring binder? Is it the old school one-write check where it's a feather checkboard? Just have them talk to you, show you what they're looking for. If they're using a program, again like QuickBooks or Peachtree, just ask them if it's a computer check, what program are you using? At this point, you have almost all the information that you need. Now we're going to talk about number three. The easiest way to take a check order is to get a copy of the voided check. Many of people who are going to change their checks over to you might already have a reorder check that's going to be a voided check that they can just show you and hand to you, or they can void out a check and give one to you. The reason that this is going to be my favorite for you to push for is because there's a lot of information that you're going to need on a check. The first thing you're going to need is what's going to go in the upper left-hand corner. What's their company information? Is their logo going to be there? Brand, brand, brand. The second piece of information that you're going to need is just the bank information, but you're going to want the bank and address and maybe potentially the branch location. This information on a voided check will already be there for you. Third is going to be, what is their new start number on the checks? We all know that checks have a number on them, but did you know that they are going to be in the upper right-hand corner, and they're also going to be found in that bottom row of numbers on the check, which is called the Micker line. It'll be usually the first or the very end numbers, but they'll match the upper right-hand corner. And then lastly, what you're really going to see is the routing and account number. You're going to need that to write the check, so we can print the checks correctly. You know, we got to know what bank it is. Again, the easiest way to me basically is just going ahead and getting a copy of a voided check if at all possible. This is just going to make things a lot easier and painless for you. Painless, easy, profitable. Right? Before we go on, I do have a couple of other features that I didn't keep in earlier that I want to talk to you about now. But here's why I want to do it. Safety is absolutely sexy. Bullets, bracelets, deter, detect, defend. When it comes to writing a check, there's some very important things that you need to know. And if you have a partner that's got this capability, my suggestion to you is do the upsell on these high security checks. High security checks. Safety is sexy. Small business owners are so protective of their business and often risk averse when it comes to decisions that are going to impact their business. To serve your customers well, offer the high security checks. It has 20 plus something features. I can't remember exactly the number, but it's over 20 features. But features like thermochromic ink, toner adhesion, which is really, really cool. Embedded fibers, the high security check, again with its 20 plus security features, can give your customers a feeling of security and peace of mind, that warm, cozy, fuzzy feeling that says that I am protected. I love this product. I have seen it save people and save people's business more times than I can count. So again, upsell, keep people safe. Safety is sexy. There is a couple of different additions that you may be able to add on to a check that's not already embedded a part of the check. DFS does offer a program called Easy Shield. Easy Shield is a fraud protection program that guards checks from unauthorized use, including like forged signatures, forged endorsements, and altered check for up to 2 years. It comes purchased with the lot of checks when purchased, and it covers that lot of checks. And the great thing that really happens is it offers $25,000 cash advancement within 72 hours to help you and your customer while the bank investigates the fraud. I told you safety was sexy. Talk about peace of mind And the great part about both the high security and the easy shield, it's pennies on each check. So it's a great add-in. It's a good add-in. And for pennies more, people can protect their money and their business. Check it out. Check it out. I told you that we were going to take a look at a holistic approach to selling checks. I'm going to give you a couple of ideas for some add-ons that not just for the check, but with the check. So think about what I'm talking about when it comes to pairing. Think Beyonce and Jay-Z, or mac and cheese, or peanut butter and jelly, Johnny and Jude, Ross and Rachel. Certain things go together, and these three products that I'm going to show you paired together or quadruple together, or whatever the word is after that. It just is a lot, is what I'm saying, all right? A lot. Deposit ticket. Checks and deposit tickets go hand in hand. When you're talking to your customer and you're taking that check order, your question should be, now how many deposit tickets do you need? I promise you they're either going to give you one of two things. One, they're going to say, I don't need any, or two, it will be, let me go check myself. Check. See what I'm saying? It's everywhere. And they'll go check and come back and potentially add that to the order. Another pairing is the security deposit bags. In certain situations across our country, cash deposit bags are absolute necessity, and you would be amazed at how many times these come up. So this is a really good opportunity to find out if there's a cash management system where they need to get cash from their store to the bank. Great, great deposit bags. As well as envelopes. So we say check and deposit ticket, check and security bags, check and check envelopes. We talked about earlier that 61% of small businesses prefer check as a form to pay, a form of payment for their vendors. So if they're going to pay their net vendors, they're either going to write or print out their check, and they're going to put it in an envelope, and they're going to mail it. So make sure, do you need envelopes with these checks? Do you need deposit tickets to these checks? Are you still using cash, and do you need deposit bags with these checks? This is a great holistic approach, and there's nothing like giving your all to your customer so you become their one-stop shop. Now, we are going through a very difficult time, and right now times are still uncertain. So I want to talk about, just really touch on, and that checks, banking supplies are a very important part of recovery planning. So in order to help your customers get open and stay safe, we have a couple of suggestions for you to offer your customers. When it comes to managing finances, a lot of customers who have applied for the personal safety loans, or maybe even opening up different accounts to make sure that money is separated and writing checks out of different accounts, checks, deposit tickets, and envelopes, just like I said, great way to help them manage finances. If you are trying to help them get open and get seen and bring people either to their B2B store, if you're going to brick to mortar, or if they're even going store to store, their e-commerce site, postcards, business cards, banners, so many ways, menus available to help promote and keep your customers communicating with their customers. And also look for somebody too that maybe can help with safety products. If you're not already providing safe products such as masks, hand sanitizers, signs that say masks are required, signs that say don't sit here, social distance signage, this is a really good opportunity to, again, walk in and give a holistic approach, caring for your customer and providing for their needs. I've given you a lot of information, but right now, this, I think, is the most important piece that I think you should check out. So when working with a strong supplier, you want to see if they have a national manufacturing footprint, right? Want to see that it's all over the United States in different areas. Most checks take about 3 days to ship. Custom forms, depending on, what you're going to be doing to it, could take anywhere from 8 to 10 days to get out. When you have somebody who has a national footprint across the United States, your turn times become a little bit smaller because your shipping times are smaller. So take a look for somebody that's got manufacturing sites all over the United States. There's also a lot of different points when you're really looking for who to work with. One of the things that you really want to see is somebody with competitive pricing, giving you 30 to 50% margins, especially when it comes to checks. You should have at least a 30 to 50% margin on there. Things that you can work with your customer if you need to bring it down to help meet them where they are. Double check and make sure, again, when I talk about that holistic approach, make sure that there's a breadth of products that they have that you can choose from. Laser and continuous forms, manual forms, the security feature options like the Easy Shield and the high security. And again, the pairs. I know you're thinking to yourself, mac and cheese and Beyonce and Jay-Z, check and deposit tickets, Ross and Rachel checking envelopes, right? Real live people. Real live humans. That's what you're looking for. Real live humans that can answer your questions, talk to you, make sure that everything that you have is the right person, right object, right product for you and for your customers' needs. You want to find a partner that is also going to be able to give you digital tools, sales tools, banners, banner ads, maybe even potentially a white label site. Such a beautiful transition to move into. You are looking for a partner that can provide you a white label site or a private label site that gets your door open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You want some there where you don't have to choose the check for your customer. The customer can choose the check for themselves. They know that they're using QuickBooks program. They know that the check is in the middle and the stub is on the top and on the bottom. They know what they're looking at. Here is a safe and secure place that they can go place an order for you. DFS offers a private white label site or a private label site. It takes about 15 minutes to set up. You get to choose what you're looking for, choose the products that you want to sell, the margins that you want, and get it out to your customers. You're ready to go. I just want to say DFS is your one-stop partner. We have turnkey print solutions. We've been doing this for 40 years. We've been around and knowing the check very, very well, so we can help you there. Again, we have 11 manufacturing plants across the United States. We have award-winning service. If you had joined us in the full color promotional printing webinar that we just recently did, you know that I took a gauge and found out what the tenure experience is for our customer service team, and it's over 600 years. We know what we're talking about. We are here to help, and we are so happy to do it. We have time-saving tools. We can get you e-catalogs. We can get you printed catalogs. Again, a lot of digital tools, since a lot of things right now are electronic. But again, I do suggest do a great job and do some printed direct mail pieces. And even with that, if you wanted to do your direct mail piece with us, you're going to save 50% off. We've got some great dealer perks, and right now for you, it's 50% off any self-use product. So as a matter of fact, since we're talking about checks, is it time for you to order your check? You can get 50% off your checks right now. We can really make them branded. We can make them pretty. You know we can. Our information is at the bottom of the screen. We're at dfsonline.com, or just email us with questions, orders@dfsbusiness.com, or call us. You can see the number down here, 800-225-9528, to just say hi. We like it when people say hi. Thank you for joining us today. Stay tuned for new webinars and educational opportunities. And remember, the hallmark of successful people is that they are always stretching themselves to learn new things. Carol S. Dweck. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.